All right, welcome back. I'm here with Stefan, Stephen Shefsky, and Jeremy Tillman. Stephen, I don't even know. I apologize. Is it Stephen or Stefan?
It is Stephen. Thank you.
Stephen, founder and CEO of Tilr, and Jeremy Tillman, founder and CEO of TrainUp. Gentlemen, very excited that you two have decided to join me. I'm really also excited for what you have to share today because, Jeremy, you and I go back a ways now, and you sent me this article about how you two have formed a partnership and how that's going to bring upskilling and visibility into filling jobs that are imminent. And so, without going too deep into what you shared and the excitement around it, you want to give a quick introduction about TrainUp and then kick it over to Stephen?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So trainup.com has been in the L&D space since 2004, where the web's kind of largest training marketplace, so to speak, connecting training seekers to training opportunities, very much like an Expedia for training. And we've had more than 60,000 companies purchase training from us over the years. And so we've been doing this a long time. We've seen a lot, we've heard a lot, got a lot of data and analytics behind that. But obviously during this COVID pandemic, so much has changed in our industry, in our space. And so we're excited at TrainUp to adapt to what's happening and bring some unique solutions. And partnering with Tilr has been amazing. We'll tell you more about that partnership soon, but I'll let Stephen tell you about Tilr.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Al. And Tilr is a technology that we developed about 4 years ago, focusing on independent contractors, gig workers, and helping them find work. Back in February of this year, we made a pivot, we made a change, and decided to also help full-time workers look for work. What Tilr does is it automates the recruitment process by using skills to connect companies to job seekers, and we hope to enhance people's lives and companies' bottom lines. So that's pretty much what Tilr does today.
Now, if I might just ask, Stephen, sticking with you, what was the impetus to go from the gig economy, the contractors, of which there's a lot of runway, correct me if I'm wrong, to incorporate the employees as well?
Well, we chose to go to full-time work because we were being asked to also consider full-time workers. And we built the platform to be able to mainly focus on the gig side. And during the way, we successfully matched about 100,000 people and 175,000 hours of work that was produced. Worked with about 400 some odd companies. And it was mainly because companies were asking us to help them. Excuse me.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Tilr and what really attracted us at TrainUp to work with them was this focus on skills matching. So long we've been doing everything in our industry based on resumes. We know that, and even though there's this little bit of a move away from resumes, the bias that comes with resumes and getting away from that is very hard. And so what Tilr does is they actually allow the participant to map their skills and match their skills to analyze where they're at, and then it looks for job opportunities based on skills. So it actually reads and pulls in all the jobs and can tell the candidates, here are the jobs that your skills fit, or here are the jobs that would fit if you could enhance these skills. And that's where we come in to help upskill people in strategic areas as they look for opportunities based on skills, not based on their resume.
So help me understand this first from an individual perspective. So am I, as someone who is either in role thinking about changing jobs or getting recruited, or if I am someone who's in between jobs or a student even, is Tilr or TrainUp a place that I go to learn about the job market and how to prepare myself better for the job market, or is that out of scope, or is that just right where you're bumping up against?
Yeah, I think we'll both answer this. So I'll start with it. So what we try to do is create a seamless path for that person where they can come in to the Tilr app first, actually, and they get to input their resume and actually upload it, and it reads it, and they fill out all their skill profile. And if they are looking, if there's someone new or looking to get in, looking for a job, we actually have free content in 4 key areas. One of them is interviewing. One of them is productivity, remote work, because that's new for a lot of folks. And we actually provide free content in those areas. So we've taken that learning center we built at TrainUp where we have free content, and we've adopted it to the content that matters for Tilr users. And they get to seamlessly come into there and find that content. But Tilr really is helping both that individual looking and organizations in a unique way. And I'll let Stephen talk about that.
Sure. Thank you, Jeremy. So basically, in real time, when a job is posted, it's converted to skills immediately and matched to our database of skills. And within seconds, literally, the company who has posted, the individual who has been notified of a match can get together, begin a process where they can schedule an interview, have an interview pretty much on the same day, and hire remotely. So in the time right now in COVID, where there's remote work, where there's remote hiring, we think this is important. With Jeremy, we also have the ability now through this partnership to upskill, reskill directly in the app. So you can do it pretty much all from a smartphone and take courses for little or no cost. And we're super excited about that relationship and about being able to provide a holistic approach to work and to finding work.
Now, as I'm listening to you, and forgive me, but I'm going to take a beginner's mindset here. I'm hearing you almost creating the ever elusive Match.com for employers and prospective employees, or more the language that I prefer. It sounds like you two do, prospective workers, because if the work needs to be done, it could be a job, it could be a project. So is that where you're headed? Is that a mindset or a framing that you all are adopting in your approach?
From Tillr's point, I think you've hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what we want to do, is we want to help individuals find work, and we think using skills as the way to match an opportunity, a job description to the skills of an individual. They're human resources, because we believe human resources are the sum of skills. We can literally put people together in a more efficient, more equitable, and really an unbiased way also, because there's no room when you look at when you get matched on skills for that bias to come into play, whether it's conscious or unconscious. It's we think that's important today.
Yeah, wow. And there's the question invariably that'll come up, what are skills to you? Where does your skills database come from? Kelly Ryan Bailey spoke very eloquently about this concept of skill shaping. I mean, what is that to you all?
I think, basically it's your lifetime experience of what you've learned at work, education, all the skills that you've attained, which are important, especially today when perhaps a recent job that you've had no longer exists. A recent job title that you've had no longer exists. It would allow you through Tilr to find opportunities where maybe you could not be put together with a job opportunity in the past. So we think it's a much more efficient and equitable way to find work.
And if I understand correctly, Jeremy, if there is some skill that I need to either improve upon or adopt to be employable at that role that I formerly did not have visibility into, then that's where TrainUp and the array of learning experiences that you offer would come into play. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that is absolutely accurate. At TrainUp, we got everything from micro learning all the way up to certification type of opportunities for upskilling. But really, back to your assessment of skills, and I think it's really a fair question. Tilr has about 30,000 skills listed in their database. And so part of our exercise was, how do we map all of these skills to learning? Where does it make sense? How do we do it based on keywords? And there's a little science in AI that's going on behind the scenes. And we've actually even taken a lot of their skill categories and we actually scoured the web to pull in resources that my team then reviewed to make sure they fit, to offer free resources really based on each of the skill categories. And in this discovery, from the Tilr perspective, when you're reading job descriptions and you're trying to convert those into skills, they've done a great job in their science of really analyzing what that really means and pulling it down. And I think it's something that companies and organizations can really look at to say, are we even putting the right things out there in our job descriptions to even attract the right talent and the right people, or is there somewhat bias in there as well? And we discovered there's a lot of jobs in the hospitality or restaurant space. And so, how do you have restaurant management skills or some of those type things that are needed? And how does that really map? And how do the soft skills play into that? So we've been working together back and forth to hone that in a little bit, but they've got about 30,000 or so identified skills from the job descriptions that are out there across the board.
Yeah. And Stephen, my assumption would be that hard skills are easier to track and codify in frameworks than soft skills. I might be mistaken. How do you distinguish the two, and are both in play?
I think that both have to be in play. I think that people are learning that remote work requires certain skills, certain things that are kind of been forced on us right now to use technology and to be able to communicate differently. So yes, I think I think the hard skills are very important, and in in the interview process, answering interview questions, being able to get face to face with both the company and the job seeker can flesh out some of those other communication skills and soft skills that are important.
Now, sticking with you, Stephen, if you're talking about gig economy and contractors and consultants and the like, most organizations, you're dealing with procurement. And obviously, if you're talking about employees, you're dealing with recruiting. So my question to you in your current state, who is your buyer? Is it both procurement and recruiting? Is it HR in general? What's your ideal use case for your product and your teaming with TrainUp?
I excuse me. I think we want to be as much to everybody as we can be. So recruitment is definitely important, and it would be the enterprise, it'd be the company that would go out and look for talent. And we look to build the most significant and the largest database that we can of skills to be able to support that effort. With regards to with TrainUp, we want to give all of our Tilr members an ability to find those skills that they need to get a better job or get a job, to indicate to them in our technology where they might have a skills gap, and that we can then move them towards Jeremy's company to TrainUp, and to allow them to find those skills that allow them to get a job, or to allow them to get additional skills to make more money.
Got it.
And I think I'd add to that, one of the things I think is really interesting about what Tillr's doing is allowing organizations, and I don't know if they're quite there yet with this, to skill map and skill internally, so you can have a better understanding of what skills do you have in your current company. Because what happens is that in the recruiting process, we bring all these folks in. What do we then analyze their skills to really understand the internal mobility and the skills that we have within our company, and where there's a need for upskilling, even internally. So, Stephen, maybe you can speak to what you do to help companies with their existing employees as well.
Thank you. Yeah, so we've also developed, as part of our marketplace technology, our skill matching technology, a skill mapping technology, which can be resident in the company's system. And what it does is it'll allow companies to break down an individual into the skills, and that will allow them to make some decisions, key decisions on what skills may be transferable, what skills are actually performing at a very high level, and that when we go out to recruit, you would look for people with specifically those skills that are providing to the bottom line. So skill mapping is very important, skill mapping to corporations. And now we've approached a number of governments, both state and to the federal government, to have a discussion around skill mapping their particular area that'll allow them to see where gaps reside, where jobs are being offered, and be able to effectively match more efficiently and more equitably.
Yeah. And with that in mind, what is the starting point for skills at the individual level? Are you parsing a resume? Is it self-reported skills? Is it reported by peers 360? Where's the starting point for skills?
The starting point for us would be if there is a resume, to have that resume put into the database, which is converted immediately to skills. Then the individual on their smartphone can access those skills and are served with additional skills that they should consider because they've been matched and accordingly have these other skills that we think that they have, and they should acknowledge whether they have them or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that would create a larger picture, a more, I guess, available to a particular job and a better match down the road. So it's important for that individual to also look at the skills that are being offered and to input those that are appropriate.
Yeah, well, love it. And we got probably 5-6 minutes left, and I congratulations on what you're achieving, and it's exciting. I as I kicked off this morning, I would talk about how much runway there is in this space, talent market analytics, labor market analytics, whatever you want to call it. Is that, formerly we were looking at internal data, trying to figure it out, but now there's all this external data that, if harnessed, can do a lot of good, in the world. It is, however, as you well know, both of you, very, very hard work. So, Jeremy, I know your why because we've been connected over the years. But Stephen, there's easier ways to make a living. Why did you get into this in this field?
It actually, my interest in this area in recruitment goes back to a time when my brother and I published a newspaper in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut back in the late 80s, early 90s. And we did this. It was a recruitment, it was classified advertising newspaper. And we morphed into something digital on the Prodigy platform. It was at the beginning of the internet back in 93, 94. And we started placing our jobs that were in the newspaper on Prodigy. And we created a resume database with a simple keyword search technology that assisted the companies who are advertising with us digitally and in newspaper print, the ability to come into that database and to find individuals that had come in those 3 states. So that was the focus of it. I ended up leaving that business to go into investment banking shortly thereafter. And we were a little early in that industry with Prodigy. Who knew that Sears and IBM wouldn't be the leaders in the internet, that it would, turn out to be Steve Case and America Online at that time. And now look what we have. So it was an interesting area for me. Since leaving law school, I've done a lot of different things, and I wanted to come back to this at some point in my life and see if there was a way for me to innovate again and find a way to help people find work. Wow.
Well, it sounds like you're creating something amazing over there. So, congratulations again to what you both are doing. As we start to, wrap up here, Jeremy, any, closing comments or thoughts on the space or what you two have going on?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited about what Tillr's doing because it takes the focus, it helps an individual to say, and the reason why I'm less concerned with, do they actually have these skills? Do they not? Are they saying or not? When you're an individual looking for a job and you see that, wow, I could do this or I could do that. And you're looking at you're taking a hard look at yourself and your own skills. And you look at opportunities that are based on skill and not based on job title, this job title or that job title, but really based on skills. You say, I can achieve that. I can go for that. Mm-hmm. And obviously with TrainUp.com, and what I believe is that the only thing that can take someone from where they are today to where they want to be tomorrow is learning. Mm-hmm. And enhancing and growing. And it's that continuous learning experience. And so Tillr's mission and what they're doing fits really well. And I think it also really fits well with organizations to be able to really understand their talent, the skills that are within, and make skill-based decisions instead of kind of the bias, you've been there, your duration, how long you've been at the company, and those type things. I think there's just a new way to look at it as we look at our organizations and what skills we need to accomplish what's in the future. That's what's really exciting, is for companies to be able to look ahead and think ahead and develop their people before that need arises, not after.
Right.
And there's great things that can happen if so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not only for the organization, but for the individuals, as you just highlighted. So no, I love it. Stephen, closing comments.
Well, I think we are at a beginning point for this type of a technology. I think the status quo has been the job board, the keyword search on a resume database. And I think now people are realizing, pre-COVID and after COVID, that it's skills that are the important commodity here. And we're very, very pleased to introduce our technology. We look to improve it on a daily basis. We look to expand our database on a daily basis, and we get the word out and appreciate your opportunity to have us on your podcast today. Thank you.
Well, hey, thank you. And again, it is a noble quest, sir. Having been you're one of the few people who've been in it longer than me. So, I'm really thankful that you're taking a go at this. It's complex. Many have run away because of its complexity. But to your point, it's imminent. We do have, again, I'll use the metaphor again, a lot of runway. And so once we get down there, build some momentum, people get used to using it both as an individual and as an organization, I think we all benefit. So yeah, keep up the great work. So thank you too.
Thank you.
All right. And Stephen, again, I had some nuts in my throat this morning too, so I empathize with the water.
Sorry. Apologize.
All right, guys, you be well. Hope to see you soon.
All right. Have a good day. Thank you.